Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is HeroQuest, and today I'd like to show you Pathfinder cards. This is the last deck that I haven't shown yet, so if you'd like to see other Pathfinder cards, I've got these two reviews up already, so go check them out if you haven't. These are Tears at Bitter Manor, 53 full-color campaign cards. Usually these come with 54. I wonder why we were shorted one. For any fantasy role-playing game. These did retail for $6.99 USD. I believe I got them for $1 because these cards are from 2014. And I think my sorta local game store just had them on the shelf for a bit too long. These won the RPG Superstar 2013 award, whatever that is, but these can be used for any role-playing game or for this specific Pathfinder module. To give you a better idea of what these are, let's read the back. Restore Hope. Get the most out of Pathfinder module Tears at Bitter Manor with this custom-made assortment of characters, treasures, and more. Item cards help you track all the best equipment, face cards to pick the most important NPCs and new monsters, quest cards summarize the key adventure goals to keep players on track. Designed specifically for use with the Pathfinder module, Tears at Bitter Manor, this beautifully illustrated 53-card deck shows players the many treasures and terrors in store for them. But as the front of the box says, you can use these for any RPG, and I would say any tabletop dungeon crawler. So we're going to look at all of these cards. These cards are just like the Game Mastery and previous Paizo decks. They are completely compatible. You can shuffle them all in together or at least group them into their respective categories because you've got item cards, scenario cards, face cards. The backs of all of them have these flavor texts along with ample space for notes, so you can really give the context of what the card is, who that character is, what they mean in your game, what are the stats of that weapon, what's the party's current level of progress on this quest. In addition to this Paizo stock card advertising the next set, which is likely out, I need to get my hands on all of them, we actually have a copy in card form of the open game license. Really cool. This wasn't in any of the other cards that I looked at, but this gives us the system reference document from Wizards of the Coast and provides all the attributions and everything you need to know for this to be a legitimate Pathfinder product. So, beginning with the character cards. We have a lot of beautifully illustrated characters. I'm not familiar with Pathfinder. I know that it's probably associated with the greater D&D universe, just in terms of the open game license, but perhaps there are distinct races that are in it, and you can identify this one because I can't. She's really lovely though. We have a construct. Immediately out of the gate, we have a construct. This one looks like he's playing air guitar. Is he meant for diving? Kind of looks like he could be meant for diving. It's up to you though. He could be a lab assistant. Either way, friendly, not friendly. We have a specter. This one is not wanting to be a specter. She was wronged. She was put to the sword or wrongfully incriminated and then executed for a crime she did not commit. And she needs your help in figuring out who was responsible for that so her soul can move on. This demonic creature, he could very well be the end game. He's terrifying. He's absolutely terrifying. Look at that mouth underneath the hood. This is what you're trying to prevent all the villagers from becoming, if you so choose. This is a four-legged beast. I think undead bear that's been turned strigoi. It's got armor on the back, some kind of new monster, a hellhound. Anything like that would be just perfect. By the way, if you do need to separate these cards back out into their respective decks, all of the face cards have a symbol on them denoting which deck they came from. So you can do that. All right, I love this guy. It's a Skaven who's watched all seasons of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's automatically my favorite. I'm going to play as this character. I don't even care if he's the villain. We have a lovely sort of paladin lady who is sporting some very fearsome looking armor. Perhaps she's not the kind of paladin that I'm thinking. I love this character. She's so cool. She is of a race like satyrs. She has a beautiful animal-like face and ears with horns that curve upwards. She's standing on a precarious rock near a threatening bramble, but she has an awesome anthropomorphic design, or zoomorphic I should say, design, and she's got little satyr feet, little feetsy hooves. I'm going to move on. This monstrous pirate Is he a boss? Is he the first thing you see when you get onto the ship? I like him a lot. He's really cool. Pirate Wraith Thrall. There's lots of different contexts you could give this guy. Then we have a couple of baddies. Bog standard orcs, or troll, or goblin, or some other classification if you want to change it up in your game. This is just an eldritch abomination. This is an alien that needs to be put to the sword immediately. We need to lay him low and burn every trace of his remnants. A sort of Leviathan-like creature, a giant eel. There's another name for these guys. It's not coming to me at the moment, but he reminds me of an enemy from Castlevania. This is the Fiery Stag. Okay, that's the name that I gave him. You can call him whatever you like. Does he appear in your dreams? Is he a literal NPC that you can talk to? Perhaps he's actually just the barkeep at a very unusual bar. Doesn't she just look like, I'm gonna get you? She's actually a perfectly harmless and very friendly and gainfully employed maid who's really good with kids. And her name is Edna. Apologies if your name is Edna. It's a coincidence. Hey, look at this guy. He's pretty cool. That might be a sort of half smirk, sort of an overconfident expression of gusto, or he might just be distrustful of your motives because he's actually very honorable. Either way, I really like the art for this guy. This guy's awesome. He can't quite remember, or he can't quite stay awake. But you need to go find out what it is that he knows, what it is that he remembers before moving on with your quest. This lady could be the mayor, or at least a noblewoman of the village or township, and she is about to give you a quest. You came to her for information, but she sees you and she knows exactly how she's going to use you. This guy is so friendly and so approachable. Perhaps he has something to sell you, or perhaps he knows exactly how to help you in your quest. Those are the face and character cards. Always very lovely, very useful, and such a wonderful variety. Now we have the item cards, which I'll probably go through these pretty quick. We have the, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say this word. I haven't heard it spoken before. Gorget? Jorget? I've been through all four possible pronunciations, unless the end is French and it's like Jorge. Anyway, gloves. Lovely gloves. Elixir. What kind of elixir? Does the back provide a clue? Crashing ocean waves have been etched into the base of this crystal flask. That's lovely. That's beautiful and simple. Cloak. Chalice. Boots. Kind of furry. An amulet. A scimitar. A holy symbol. A watch. I love that there's a watch. I love that it's been segmented out, indicating that there's pieces. And you can see all of the gears. That's really nice. And now we are at the scenario cards. These cards can be used to launch your scenario, launch your campaign, link scenarios together in a campaign, segment a scenario into different parts so your characters have objectives that change throughout the course of their quest. You can use these in a lot of different ways. You can have them branch out such that when your characters complete the first one, depending on their actions and their choices, it could lead to either this branch or this branch. And then in what I'd like to shorthand as descent fashion, it could lead back to the same quest, or the left path could go its exclusive route, the right path could go its exclusive route, and so on. Those are some ways that I could see these being used, and perhaps the players are even cognizant and can make this choice at the end of their quest, or perhaps one is the lose condition, one is the win condition, and in those ways we could use these to build quests for HeroQuest and games like HeroQuest. But let's read some of these and see what they have to say. They do provide sort of a vague context and give you a pretty definitive sounding mission, but you can twist it any which way you like. They're all very open-ended. Purging the cannibals, very dark already. Cannibalistic monstrous humanoids lurk in the Verduran forest and have been capturing humanoids to eat. The Black Rock Company will pay a handsome fee to anyone who can kill the creatures and raise their camps. Arboreal arachnids, spider trigger warning. These are Black Widows. The BlackRock Company offers a substantial reward to anyone who destroys a giant red widow spider and her fiendish keeper, which dwell together somewhere within the Verdurin Forest. These will have you going to the Verdurin Forest many times. Harpy Help. Harpy Help. A group of harpies has made repeated attacks targeting caravans traveling along the trade roads that pass through the Verdurin Forest. Slay the harpies and return any stolen cargo they keep in their lair. You could choose to do this, definitely. I like harpies, so I'm going to offer an alternative. When your heroes do help the harpies, if they choose instead to investigate the various caravan rooms, they find that these caravaneers are harboring harpy eggs. I don't put too much thought into it. I'd like to imagine that harpies get reproduced by laying eggs, but anyway, harpy are the bad guys in this situation. You've uncovered that you actually have to help them, so perhaps you've got to steal the eggs back, fight the caravaneers who are actually bandits, travel up the mountain fighting any warrior harpies along the way because they don't know your intentions, and then you get to the end and you present them, and then the harpies reward you, perhaps with many pairs of winged boots. A slain father's peace. Destroy the haunt that has been causing violence on the streets of Casimir. This ghostly vision manifests as a father and son arguing, and concludes with a distraught child murdering his parent. Finding strange beasts. Provide the druids of the Wildwood Lodge with trophies from up to 3 of the new creatures rumored to have appeared in the Verdurin Forest in recent days. One of made of dead trees, a charred elk, and a water serpent. Ooh, we saw the water serpent. We saw the charred elk. I don't know that I saw a creature made of dead trees in that character pack, but I'm sure that it was there. Child of the Wildwood. Visiting Dern Fozimith. Dern Fozimith and the Verdurin are places that are referenced, as well as the BlackRock Company. Finding Flynn. The middle-aged half-elf alchemist Tergan Flynn never showed up this year to the gathering of the retired group of adventurers investigate his disappearance. Good for the soul with this ring. An old man living in mother's care home confesses that in his youth he drove off his would-be bride when he fell for another. Acquire the engagement ring that belonged to Gil's scorned former fiancé. Settling the sibling rivalry. Finding the path. House of Death. Rescue the elder heroes. Oh gosh. A strange missive has led former adventurers Igneous Crandall and Branda Toldis out into the dangerous woods. While you're traveling, discover clues that point to their recent presence and save these elder heroes from certain danger. Fiendish trophies. The record of iniquity. We were soldiers. Some soldiers of the ancient Taldan armies of exploration became undead once they were abandoned by their superiors in the wilderness. Some of them still dwell in the Verdurin Forest. Put these abandoned ones to rest. Rest in peace. The Lost Rangers, the Fallen Priests, the Fatal Feast. Investigating Mother's Care, the end of Anabaeth. The arrow demon Anabaeth digs her black claws across the land, bringing the people of Casimir and its surrounding lands to ruin. In the guise of many pleasing forms, she has spread misery and death. Destroy her forever, and no one else. The foul creatures that prey on the weak must be stopped. Destroy the Volna demons. The Volna demons and dark slayers that hide inside Mother's Care home for invalids without letting them murder another patient. Dark. Very, very dark expansion, this. But an excellent setup for that kind of content. Something that could very easily piggyback off of, say, Rise of the Dread Moon after you complete that campaign, and you need homebrew ideas for what the heroes are doing while they wait for the wandering monk to show up and lead them to the land of the ogres. At any rate, brave heroes, thank you very much for watching. Comment anything you like down below, and if you really liked this video, be sure to go watch a few more. If you want to see more Pathfinder or Game Mastery card deck unboxings and overviews, just check out the rest of the videos on the channel. They're all out there now, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, onward.